Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. On this Christmas Day 2025, the United States has launched a series of lethal military strikes against ISIS targets in northwest Nigeria. We're bringing to you a breaking news special. Good evening. Tonight, SharpEdge News TV is coming to you with a breaking news special. The geopolitical landscape of Nigeria has shifted forever. At the direct order of President Donald Trump, the United States has officially launched military strikes inside Nigeria. According to U.S. military officers, more than a dozen Tomahawk cruise missiles were fired from a Navy vessel in the Gulf of Guinea, neutralizing two major ISIS camps in Sokoto State. This intervention follows a direct order issued by President Trump in November for the Pentagon to prepare for military action to protect religious minorities in Africa's most populous nation. While the U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM, confirmed the strikes were carried out to disrupt violent extremist organizations, Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson, Kimiebi Ebiafar, stated that the precision strikes were conducted in coordination with the Nigerian government. This comes amidst a year where over 12,000 people have reportedly been killed by various armed groups across the country. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth added fuel to the fire tonight, posting, "The president was clear. The killing of Christians must end. ISIS found out tonight on Christmas. More to come." Chief, this is a massive shift in U.S.-Nigeria relations. Is this a necessary intervention for human rights, or is it a violation of sovereignty that will escalate the conflict even further? Before I get into your answers, I'm just going to play the intro and we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. We will be right back. All right. Without further ado, we have the High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. Did you grasp my questions, or you want me to read them again?
Yes, I did. I thought you were going to bring in some video clips to illustrate the intro, but notwithstanding, let me say that this is coming as a kind of humanitarian gesture, not just in support of the Christian faithfuls in Nigeria at this Christmas, because the import of this action, the thrust of this action could be misconstrued and misinterpreted, leading to massive misinformation, traffic in fake news by people who really do not think that this cycle of violence in Nigeria should, it's long due for a halt. So whatever has happened here has not in any way violated the sovereignty of Nigeria. And you can hear from a Nigerian defense sources confirming that this was done in coordination with the Nigerian military or military authorities or hierarchy. So if anybody is thinking, because I really do not know the style of reportage that was engaged by the source, the news source the platform you just quoted, saying American War Secretary or Defense Secretary, whichever, Pete Hegseth, added fuel to the fire. That is suggestive and misleading to say that he's adding fuel to the fire. However, let us say that this is a pivotal moment concerning the war against terror, banditry, and kidnapping in Nigeria. Beyond that, now everybody should understand that we all may have our differences as Americans, but it's time. It's high time we began to take seriously President Donald Trump, whether on his campaign trail or is just trying to get some photo up to speak with journalists. He says he's going to do something. He follows up on it. Venezuela, the action in Nigeria now, and look at what also happened in the Middle East. So, honestly, this is a president that does not fiddle. He says it, he means it. And thank God, Nigerian authorities are on board. So it therefore also means that in all that's been said, thinking that maybe the Nigerian government or military authorities have been conniving with this irresponsible ragtag army of misinformed religious ideologues. Now we know that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is on the same page with everybody that wants a definitive period to this beleaguered history of terror in Nigeria. That is my take. So, it is not intrusive on the part of the United States. I mean, people called in an unambiguous fashion for help from above. And America has again showed up. I mean, America has again shown up to let the world know that it stands for freedom for those that are oppressed, and that that country, this our great country, I mean, land of the brave, home of the free. We stand as big beacon for those who are being unjustly repressed and wasted. This is what it is.
So this is the direct statement from Donald Trump earlier on this evening. He said, "Tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, they will be held to pay. And tonight, there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing.
I agree completely. Only the United States of America can come with that kind of, that kind of precision and strikes, lightning speed.
He said, "Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military, and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if the slaughter of Christians continues." So many people are asking the question, like, wait, what do you mean if it continues? There will be more. Which one is it? Is it there will be more, or is that a strong if, or is that a blurry if? What's your take on it?
That's a statement that has been made with the clarity of tone and intent, as it were. There will be more if the terrorists do not stop. Simple. People should not be out for mischief, trying to read them beyond what the spirit and letter of what Donald Trump, President of the United States, is saying there. And that is not even at variance with the desire of every peace-loving Nigeria at this moment, including the leader of this Africa's most populous democracy. And you have seen all kinds of fallouts from this, including restrictions, visa ban, and the kind of disruptions that will happen to students who would want to come over to the United States for studies in our various colleges and universities this January, and even immigrant visas too. I mean, people who have been hoping to join their spouses to come over here and live in unity as a family unit.
Mm-hmm.
That would be more difficult. Now that this decisive action against terrorists in Nigeria has begun, you can be sure that in the wake of this, possibly there will be a relaxation and possible removal of Nigeria from that list of country, or yeah, that gang of people that are being viewed with concern internationally. So this is a win-win for Nigerians and peace-loving Nigerians. You know, those that can panic at this moment are the crisis merchants, the people
Mm-hmm.
that have always acted as apologists for all kinds of killings. And I hope somebody like, the well-known, what's it called, banditry and the terrorist or terrorism apologist, Sheikh Gumi, would, think twice. Now, I was told he was in the military. It does not matter. Now he will know that the big boy is in town, the United States of America. And let me tell you, beyond this reckless and misguided talk of America is there to take oil or that. No, there are more entrenched core values for human existence that America stands for. And the military brigands in places like Niger and all those so-called Sahel coalition should now, you would see them that there will be something about them. They can sound tough, but they all have got a feet of clay. They cannot really stand the onslaught of the United States of America. Once the United States military command or African military command has a foothold, and everybody has been suspecting, without betraying details of these military operations, everybody's been suspecting that American, what's it called? American military apparatus must have arrived in Nigeria few weeks earlier than now. Now that we know that these war vessels are off the coast of Nigeria by way of Gulf of Guinea, you know that America means business. And really, I would even want lobbies between the two countries to intensify efforts. If America is going to put a military command in Nigeria to make sure that the gains of this quick action, this all and shock action, military action, that the gains are not rolled back. If America must establish a military base in Nigeria, is a win-win for that country, in terms of intelligence, in terms of human, what's it called, a kind of synergy and further understanding between American and Nigerian citizens. And then for those of us who are Nigerian Americans, it's an opportunity to save our motherland. It's an opportunity for us to speak up. I remember those days that I could travel everywhere in Nigeria as a young journalist, as somebody who was curious about knowing people and having an understanding of people. All that within 2 decades got rolled back because of misguided anger on the part of some people and ill-digested religious and political ideologies and going to the wrong places for inspiration on what? And then disruptions everywhere. And then we became our own enemy. So this, is something that signals a new dawn in Nigerian-American bilateral relations. And even in a multilateral way too, this would signal to the world that Nigeria is not a place where any Tom, Dick, and Harry and irresponsible, bloodthirsty idiots can just perch and make life uncomfortable for innocent and law-abiding citizens.
So many people would say, whenever United States starts something like this, that it's either it never ends or it never ends well. What do you say to those people?
It's all lies. It's all lies. America had given military interventions in several places, and those what's it called? Those countries, those climes have had a change for the better. And what is even more, everybody talks of the stability and prosperity in places like Saudi Arabia. Do they know that America is the bastion? America is the backbone for whatever is happening in places like Saudi Arabia and Dubai today. So people should stop all this scaremongering and making everybody to feel like, oh, America should be dreaded. Part of the evil Islamic propaganda that's been spread over, toxic feelings that has been, sent out over many years that, oh, America is the great devil, America is the Babylon. Stupid stuff. And I even know of a parent at some point that would say, oh, we can't allow our children to travel to the United States because of chips being being put on human body, the mark of 666. Such esoteric jargons that the people copy from some ancient religious writings that may not even have a clear interpretation in terms of our present existential ethos. So when people say all these kind of things, America gets there, it never ends. Who says? It ended in Vietnam. How about Japan? In Germany? These countries that I'm mentioning, they got more prosperous. So if this is going to be that nudge that this snoring and probably what's it called? Not too attentive, a giant of Africa. This is the nudge that gets us on the move again, on the go again, to understand our place concerning the destiny of the average black person on the face of the earth. So be it. It's a nudge. And I do not think that, yes, I disagree with Mr. Donald Trump on several issues, but on this, I think we are on the same page. Nigeria has got to secure peace. And that peace is not going to be by way of appeasement or at any cost. All those paying off terrorists, empowering them to have more funds in order to continue to visit more terror on Nigeria, on Nigerians. I think this is one good moment. And mark you, Nigeria has articulated that argument enough that the killing in Nigeria is not targeted at Christians alone. For example, Christmas Eve, 24th, there was an attack on a mosque in Borno State. A suicide bomber, a suicide killer was at a mosque in Borno State. And when that device went off, inside a mosque, 5 Muslim faithfuls were killed. So, yes, but by and large, all things considered, Christians get the longer end of the stick when it comes to losses, human losses. But we cannot also downplay the seriousness of or the tragedy of losing Christian and Muslim compatriots as well. All of us are under siege in Nigeria. That is just the plain truth. Yes, you can carry on.
I want to go ahead and read the statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Abuja.
Right.
The press release. It says Nigeria United States Security Cooperation and intelligence collaboration hits at terrorist targets in Nigeria. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria confirms that Nigerian authorities remain engaged in structured security cooperation with international partners, including the United States of America, in addressing the persistent threat of terrorism and violent extremism. This has led to precision hits on terrorist targets in Nigeria by airstrikes in the Northwest. In line with established international practice and bilateral understandings, This cooperation includes the exchange of intelligence, strategic coordination, and other forms of support consistent with international law, mutual respect, mutual respect for sovereignty, and shared commitments to regional and global security. Nigeria reiterates that all counterterrorism efforts are guided by the primacy of protecting civilian lives, safeguarding Nigerian unity, and upholding the rights and dignity of all citizens, irrespective of faith or ethnicity. Terrorist violence in any form, whether directed at Christians, Muslims, or other communities remain an affront to Nigeria's values and to international peace and security. The federal government continues to work closely with its partners through established diplomatic and security channels to weaken terrorist networks, disrupt their financing and logistics, and prevent cross border threats, while strengthening Nigeria's own security institutions and intelligence capabilities. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs will continue to engage relevant partners and keep the public informed through appropriate official channels. Signed, Kimebi Imomotimi Ebiefa, spokesperson. So the first comment on that came from UD. He says, "This is a safe face situation. You mean you had the might to bomb Benin Republic, but ran out of jet fuel, preventing you from handling the one in Nigeria until the United States handled it for you?"
Who is making this comment?
This
is that on our platform?
No, it's not. No, it's a random comment on Twitter, just on that.
Well,
on that
this is
press release.
that kind of comment is what excuses and sabotages. The efforts of the government and its international allies in containing what is going on in Nigeria. This is this is a serious moment for all of us. It's also a sobering moment for somebody to now begin to want to score cheap political points on what is
real life,
an existential, serious issue for all of us. I think it's irresponsible, and let us focus on what the statement from the Foreign Affairs Ministry is saying right there. For everybody who thinks it's America that is coming in, taking over the place, challenging the sovereignty of Nigeria, a sovereignty that was even undermined and probably completely erased by this, like Donald Trump called them. This comes at some point, or up to the moment this intervention came, this collaboration came. It's what everybody should now begin to look at, that we are having a kind of rebirth, we're having a kind of restoration, and very soon that hope would rise in all of us that Nigeria can be, can do greater exploits again. I don't want to go the way of make Nigeria or America great again. No, right. This is no time to start trading political mantras or sing songs. No, this
not
is
about any of that. Yeah.
Yes, making sure that when a nation faces a serious and dire strategic and tactical issues like this, everybody comes on board. We must be united. And the intelligence arm of a Nigerian defense, what's it called? The defense hierarchy should be up and alert, watching out for every attempt at sabotaging this surgical military operation. Anybody going around without compromising on free speech, but people going around to instigate all kinds of opinions and views that would demoralize the men and ladies in uniform at this moment should be pushed aside, while we are laser focused on the mission of making sure that these people are totally taken out. They are totally taken out. And then the other aspect of what's it called? That would be a backup to the military onslaught should be now putting in place things that would lead to better understanding, improved coexistence between nomadic herdsmen and farmers in various communities across Nigeria. And SharpEdge News, have been around some cattle, what's it called? Cattle farmers or cattle ranchers in the United States this Christmas. I'm sharing dinner, lunch with some of them and getting their perspectives on how to go about the business of ranching, business of keeping cattle in a place like Nigeria in a way, in a fashion that we will come out with that report next Monday, and we'll see if Nigerian government can listen and set up workshops and seminars through which cattle rearers and local farmers could benefit from whatever we are going to make public from our own findings, from our own research. You know, we can keep cattle without losing lives. We can be farmers without being under the threat of annihilation. For far too long, the tension between farmers and herdsmen in Nigeria has been a decoy, a kind of facade for all kinds of foreign infiltrators, territorial invaders to come into Nigeria and perpetrate all kinds of crimes, all kinds of murderous exploits. This is the time to stop, and everybody's got to queue behind both Presidents Donald Trump and Bola Ahmed Tinubu to make sure that Nigeria has a new dawn. That is just simply what we almost do, instead of some people beginning to post asinine and insidious comments as to, oh, you can go to Benin Republic and then you don't have fuel to do this and all that. Trash.
All right, let's go through some of the backstories that led to, to where we are today. According to CNN, they have what they call the years of violence, and they have what looks like let me see if I can. No, let's just leave this on the screen. It says Nigeria has grappled for years with deep-rooted security problems driven by various factors, including religiously motivated attacks. The country has roughly equal numbers of Christians who are predominantly in the south and Muslims who are mainly concentrated in the north. In 2012, the Islamic group Boko Haram issued an ultimatum ordering Christians in the northern region to leave while calling on Muslims in the south to come back to the north. Most targeted killings in recent years have been in the north. Besides Boko Haram, there's also a lesser-known Lakurawa group prominent in northwestern states.
Lakurawa or Lakuregbe, whatever.
Which security analysts said could have been the target of Thursday's strikes. By the way, they were earlier on today, they were reported suicide bombings in Maiduguri.
Yes, that's what I mentioned.
Okay, yeah. So just for those that are just coming in. So observers say other violent conflicts arise from communal and ethnic tensions, as well as disputes between farmers and herders over limited access to land and water. Are Christians being killed? Yes, though that's only part of the picture. John Joseph Ayab, a pastor who leads the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in the country's northern region, agrees with Trump's claim of systematic killings of Christians in that area. The scale of the killings has reduced in the last 2 years, he said. However, this year has seen a spate of high-profile attacks in predominantly Christian pockets of the north, which has drawn international attention and condemnation. In April, gunmen believed to be Muslim herders killed at least 40 people in mostly Christian farming village. 2 months later, more than 100 people were massacred in Yawata, a largely Christian community in the northeastern state of Benue, according to Amnesty International. The killings have been seized upon among parts of the Christian evangelical right in the U.S. In August, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas introduced a bill calling for sanctions against Nigeria for purported violation of religious freedom. What about Muslim victims? Muslims have also been victims of targeted attacks by Islamist groups seeking to impose their extreme interpretation of Islamic law. At least 50 worshippers were killed in August, where gunmen attacked a mosque in the northwestern state of Katsina, and many similarly brutal attacks have been carried out in Muslim communities by Boko Haram and other armed groups in the north. I have a question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, as we know that there's probably both people affected, but we also know that we know that this adversaries of non-entities like based kind of people, they also
Mm,
tend to claim that they are doing this in the name of a particular religion, right? So that creates a very dicey situation when it comes to intelligence, when it comes to so when it comes to the general narrative, and also when it comes to the public relations, if you will, right?
mm.
So, in your opinion, what's your take on this? Is this a situation? How do people of good citizens manage this? Because it can be difficult to not look at this as an issue of an attack against Christians, depending on who we're talking to, of course. How do you advise that a regular person handle that part of it?
Well, thank you very much. Remember, I've always advocated a situation in which people educate themselves. For example, I am a practicing Christian, but you yourself, you know that I do not tolerate dramatics or theatrics often promoted by charlatans in the name of religious adherence. You come to me with things I find to be, uh, because I know my Bible. I know that as a Christian, I am not fixated on practices in the Torah or what Muslims will call the Torah, or which we will call Old Testament. I'm not fixated on the dark age battles and bloodletting and all kinds of stuff. I'm not trapped in that. I mean, I live for the hope of what Jesus came to reform, to set the captives free, make sure that the poor and vulnerable in the society are taken care of, and being nice to my neighbor. And I cannot just close my eyes to the fact that there are bad Christians, there are bad Muslims, there are good Christians, there are good Muslims, and there are also good traditional what's it called? Religion faithfuls everywhere. So to just have this blanket or broad brush paint and condemnation or rejection of people, and then saying that those who do not subscribe to your viewpoint or your strict interpretation of whatever should be annihilated. That is a no. When people promote that, you're going to ask them. So if this is your God, is such a bloodthirsty entity that mandates you to wipe off people who do not look at things from your own prism, then that's your God. It's no real God. That is your inner satanic instinct pushing you to go after people who disagree with you. And it is really bad, if not completely absurd, for somebody to want to disagree with you without being disagreeable. So it is either your viewpoint or no other viewpoint. Man, you got to jump out of this world and find another planet where you can do that kind of nonsense. But if you must flow with everybody. I mean, have you heard of the way God gives liberally to everybody? For example, Jesus was quoting of the exploits of, in the days of Elijah. Remember the widow of what's this place called? I will remember that place. That widow in that area, which was not even part of Israel then, Shunem, the Shunammite widow. Remember that Elijah was not even sent to any widow in Israel where there was what's it called, crushing famine and drought all those years. Elijah was sent by God to, or allegedly, reportedly, to the widow in Shunem. And at the end of the day, look at the series of events that transpired there. So if God, the Father of the universe, would not be so partial as to focus just on widows who were in Israel of that time under King Ahab and the what's it called? The wife who operated like a mindless despot and tyrant, Jezebel. And then Elijah was sent to the house of the widow in Shunem. Who are these people to tell us how God gives liberally? And then this same God that makes sure that the same rain that falls on Muslims in Nigeria falls on their compatriot Christians and traditional religion adherents. So who are they to want to tell us how God operates, his preferences, what he wants to do? So these are the issues. You set limits when people come to you with all kinds of what's it called? Wrong-headed ideologies and thoughts. All those speculations, you must learn to shoot them down, not just with superior reasoning, because some of them can operate like a mob, and it is stupid to argue with a mob because they are usually thoughtless and very illogical. So you are not going to engage such wrong-headed bigots. I mean, in certain ways, just let them know this cannot just be right. And I was discussing with a friend of mine in Ibadan this past week, and she grew up as a Muslim, but she has always learned to shun extreme Islamic teachings. For example, this idea that borders on something coming from the brain of an imbecile that 70 virgins will be the reward for a single person that kills in a wrong-headed Islamic jihad. And then she told me, while her mother was alive, she asked the Islamic clerics that were pushing that in their mosque. And so if 70 virgins would be given to the average male jihadist as a reward in heaven, so what would be the reward for all of us, the old women here that were originally married to our husbands? Because these things were not coming directly from Allah or God himself. These are just human feelings who felt like, in life it is about the libidinous propensity of the average man. How hard you can pound and all those stupid stuff about sex-driven what's it called? Viewpoint. And then she told me those Islamic clerics were like, you people will still be the iyales, that is the senior wives in heaven, and those virgins will just be there. And I'm like, well, this same God that we know to be an impartial God, a fair-minded God, if a woman decides to be a suicide bomber, supposedly, but it is false that there will be 70 virgins, because in their own twisted mind, heaven is a place of sexual orgy, all kinds of things that will be done by, the reprobates of this world, the rich of this world, the people who just do not think of anything other than amoral affairs. They think that is the standard that would obtain in heaven. So the logical thing to expect is that, for the average woman who dies as a suicide bomber or jihadist, there should be 70 yet to be defiled, virgin males to be ascribed to them, because this God is God of justice. Whatever comes to a man goes to to a woman as well. But that is not their argument here, because they know these things were not coming as a way of revealed knowledge. And then if you say you have revealed knowledge, that is only personal to you. It is subjective. Whatever cannot...
Absolutely subjective.
Yes. If something is... if you are telling me, Allah, that this is revealed to you by God, for me to believe it, you and I must sit down and it will be revealed to us simultaneously.
Yeah.
But for you to come with your own stuff. Oh, God said this, God said that. I'll just look at you and I will smile because really I'm trained to be
Because obviously that's your
cynical.
story. That's your story. I mean, that's
That
all you,
that is your story. It
all
is
in
your
your head.
truth, and you know your truth may not even be universal. So yeah, some people they have all this single ringo thing in their brain, and they think it's God that is talking to them. So this
Yes.
is where we must begin to draw the line. That you see, the things people push around, the traffic around,
Hmm.
is just an excuse to subjugate others and keep them in servitude. Very unfortunate. But
Hmm.
that is the nature of this world. You let it slip by, people will enslave you.
Hmm.
And they do not just do it with physical chains and all forms of stuff. They will also do that by pushing all kinds of speculations and twisted arguments, making
Let me
sure that
read.
your mind is subjugated and
Let me
destroyed.
let me read it back and forth to you. So
Right.
one of the guys who are, who post stuff online. Twitter is the only thing that's carrying this right now.
Mm,
So everybody is still asleep. All the journalists in Nigeria are still asleep, I guess.
mm-hmm.
So this guy said, white supremacists and racist Trump does not give a f about random black Nigerian Christians. This is all a ruse towards something more sinister. So the person now replied and said, "You can go and join the terrorists to fight back." And then he replied
Right.
to that person back and said, "Mumu, hope, Mumu, hope you have moved the entire family from the continent." And then the other person answered, "A brainless terrorist." And then somebody said, "This sounds like a wild headline, but if it's true, it's a serious escalation of U.S. military involvement in Africa."
Good
What's,
one.
what's your take on that one, sir?
Well, the truth of the matter is that I do not know where these people. You see, people do not go the extra mile to educate themselves, and in an age where you do not even need to behave like some of our, I mean, to spend much energy like some of our forebears who had to get scholarships, had to get their parents to put their farm plantation up for loans and what have you, to send people abroad to recite things in what's it called? World class libraries. Right on the top, I mean, on your device, on your palm device, right there, your cell phone. Just get yourself good data. You can research all this. So these are people always pushing these funny arguments that white supremacists, white racists, and these. And yes, there are such bigots in America and Europe and everywhere, including inside Nigeria itself. For
Hmm.
example, haven't you seen? I mean, haven't you seen some ministers the way they talk down on average citizens as if they are nobody? Have you not seen somebody who was an ex-minister in Nigeria challenging the temerity of a journalist to talk to him because the journalist was asking a harmless question? Have you not seen a serving minister in this administration challenging a journalist on national television, supposedly asking that accomplished journalist who the journalist thought he was, and all kinds of stuff. So there are people within Nigeria too who just want to see themselves be full. I mean, be full of themselves, be megalomaniac, and do stuff. Not just a white racist, and I'm not a defender of any racist or any bigot.
It's just not
Hear me.
relevant right now. It's just not
Yeah,
relevant. Yeah.
that's right. So what
Yeah.
we're saying here is that if these people educate themselves, if they research, they will know that worse, what's it called, practices, wicked situations are visited on blacks by people in the Middle East, whether Arab or elsewhere there, against black people of black descent than you find in the West. The West is always improving itself. I mean, it's faced up to the evil of slavery, it's faced up to the evil of colonialism. But
Mhm.
in the Arab world, they are unyielding, they are not changing, their standard remains same. I mean, they are ready to refer to their fellow human being who just by color pigmentation, was born black, and they just amplify such a person with the tag and the name, the identity of Abid, ABD. The Arabic word means slave. They just see you immediately. They see a black person, they are calling him a slave. How about that kind of mindset? So this person who is coming with this what's it called, flawed position that the United States is coming from the angle of imperialism, the sinister angle of being a white racist, needs to educate himself. So what do you describe those people who are stealing millions of dollars or millions of naira that should have taken care of millions of Nigerian citizens, personally taking over that and sentencing people into extreme penury and destitution? What do you call them? What do you call them? Right amongst your own people. What do you call people who are eager to rehabilitate disgraced politicians, disgraced leaders around Nigeria, who would steal resources meant for the generality of people to give quality education, health care, all kinds of social amenities to the average person, care for the old, care for the vulnerable like disabled people like me and others around the country there? What do you call them? Isn't that, some kind of, what's it called? Black or superpower hegemony right in Nigeria there? So to begin to pin everything on Europe, on America, or elsewhere is irresponsible. And it looks to me like a dereliction of reasoning. Instead of thinking straight, people just want to.
I guess it's important. I guess it's important that we address some of this because a lot of people are thinking that way. So it's important that we address. I'm going to throw these two questions at you, right? Somebody says, so Nigeria has joined the League of Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, where the U.S. drop bombs at their pleasure. How do they get this?
That is not true. America is not dropping bombs.
So you're saying that sounds like somebody who is just throwing tantrums. They throw their air in the air.
Yes,
and like a child, like 2-year-old.
Yes, and if you really investigate these individuals, there will be people that have been benefiting from the chaos and anarchy all over the place. This person, if you investigate him closely, may even be a terrorism financier, because I told you when that coup happened in Nigeria and everybody was saying, oh, America should not come and create any base in Nigeria. I said, we need American military base in Nigeria. The moment America boots and the machinery is on the ground in Nigeria, business is over for all these, what you call them, war merchants, war mongers, and crisis beneficiaries. So
to be fair,
the of America is sending them into insolvency, is sending them out of town, is sending them out of business, and they need to begin to sit up. It looks like it is over for them now.
Are you saying that there are no regular Nigerian citizens who really think that way outside of the financiers?
Well, if they are, it's because they are misinformed, and this is where the National Orientation Agency in Nigeria must step up. This is where the United States Information Service, if it still exists anywhere, and the State Department must up its game by making sure that straight thoughts, logical thoughts, critical thoughts are pushed out to counter all this kind of reactive and reactionary reasoning. And this is where the media must also come in. You know, the media in Nigeria now is under trial itself, because everybody thinks, oh, that takes me to my next question. Don't steal that from me. So this is maybe you can speak for your junior colleagues. Somebody is asking. Am my senior colleagues as well?
Your people. You know, somebody is saying, where's the media to cover this clan? And is this just another scandal to gaslight weak Nigerians? And I think somebody also said, I'm still awake this night of the night, not because I want, but because I can't sleep in my room. No way to. Somebody was saying, okay, someone said, guess what? No news of it yet from any media outlet. Well done. So The Nigerian journalists, where are they? They just go. They still go to sleep in 2025.
Well, the truth of the matter is that the cycle of being a professional journalist can be really hectic. It can be um, uh, tasking, and it can also drive anybody crazy. But in an environment where people are paid poorly, in an environment where the necessary equipment are not even readily available to carry out the task. And then you look at the potential, what's it called, hazard of being on the job. Of course, you remember the circumstance of my exiting Nigeria in 2002. I was virtually left for dead. And a lot of people actually felt I got killed. Yeah, in the line of duty. So what I'm saying is that as somebody that bears an eternal scar on my body as a journalist, somebody who went through thick and thin, practicing in that country, I can, do I understand the limitations to how effective our journalists can be? Sure. But of course, you find some journalists too, even when you go the extra mile to provide the information, people are so numb, they are not ready to allow for research within the system or to allow the laws to even work when journalists do their job. What do you get? People who have no business teaching journalism on the job. They will be teaching you, they will be telling you how a journalist is supposed to operate. You have seen some ministers who have acted irresponsibly in the recent past, telling journalists what they ought to be reporting or shouting them down, and then making what's it called?
Are you excusing them?
Rascality.
Are you excusing them? Are you excusing them?
I'm not excusing them, but I have an understanding of the hostile environment.
I think that's fair.
Which they have, in which they have to where they operate from. This is just the truth of the matter.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, and whether under the military or in this so-called what's it called? Propped up democracy that we have, which we think is real democracy, journalists are not able to operate as they ought to. But people are breaking barriers, and this is where I give it to online journalists more than traditional media, because there is this APC media goon that is always trying to sound like he knows better than every other journalist, that he is the what's it called? He speaks with magisterial finality on every subject, not knowing that journalists, a well-trained journalist, should operate from the predicate of not knowing or appearance of not knowing anything at all. Even if you know all, you have to play that game of not knowing so that you can have useful information that can guide you on how you report. But this person comes with this arrogant pride of knowing it all.
Who is this person? Who is this person, sir?
I don't want to. Respected the senior colleague, I don't want to set the media house on fire. But they know. I mean, if I want to mention his name, he probably will be listening. There have been times he sent me what's it called? WhatsApp message saying fake news. I said, what is fake about our analysis? Just because we are not looking at it from. We are not looking at it from the lens of APC, the ruling party in Nigeria. I mean, you have to shut everybody down.
So it's propaganda as usual.
Ruben Abati is not doing enough justice to what's it called? The profession of journalism, in that person's opinion. Rufai Husseini is not doing enough. This guy sounds like the only journalist in Nigeria. But if we compare between the sacrifice of some of us, this is his own.
Let me ask you
about the challenges of journalism and the triumph of the profession in a place like Nigeria that is really hostile. This guy is thriving today just because the government that encourages and supports him is in power.
It's okay.
When they fall eventually, I want him to sound so zestful the way he's been going around.
I'm going to throw. We have about 5 more minutes to round up. I'm going to throw two questions at you. So round up, right? So the first question is this: it's a question out of Twitter. The person
Hmm.
says, "So we're not allowed to get green card in this country, but he can throw bombs at us." That's the first question. But
Isn't that dumb? Yeah,
let
what
me
has green
finish
card
now.
got to do with making sure that we stop bloodletting in Nigeria? Can you see
Let
comparing
me ask the
between
last question. Let me
Apple
ask.
and
Let me ask the last question. The last question is from me. How do you think the average Nigerian on the streets of Sokoto feels waking up to U.S. missiles
yes?
in the middle of the night between Christmas and Boxing Day?
Well, those hard pounding coming from the bombs and the missiles is going to reset some brain in Sokoto. Remember that is where that innocent uh, student of what is it Sheikh Shagari College of Education, or what's the name of that college of education in Sokoto, where that young student was killed for just cautioning that you cannot use a class a study platform to begin to disturb each other about religion and what have you, and then they went after her, killed her, got her incinerated. So it is good when people wake up in Sokoto this morning. I think they are going to have some brain reset to stop
Hmm.
thinking like people living in dark or medieval age,
Hmm.
to think as modern people. See, I just pity them. I know we are all one, but I pity the average Nigerian who drinks nothing other than the potent, um, what's it called? The potent drug of religion. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yeah, this thing that destroys their mind, that numbs their mind, not to be able to think straight in a logical fashion, to have a critical thought process. I think waking up this morning to that reality that look, things have changed.
Hmm.
If you do not want to belong in the civilized age in which we all live, this age of enlightenment, postmodernism,
Mm-hmm.
well, you got something else coming for you. But everybody usually sounds tough, including the military brigands in the Sahel coalition um,
Hmm.
in Africa. All of them, they usually sound tough. But when they begin to see that war is not the it's Madame Fodio age kind of thing, that war is serious and can be devastating and can really be destructive, and
Hmm.
you never can predict the end from the beginning. I think everybody would sit up and begin to think straight and
Okay.
better. So this is before the thing escalates further. This is the time for everybody to really converge on the plateau or wherever around negotiating tables and say, see, we give it up. Whatever light weapons or illicit or proliferated arms are available around Nigeria, people should give it up now and embrace the option of peace. Let us live the way we have always lived. And then shun that nonsense that ended up seeing that people were kidnapped, were raided, sold into slavery in the millions, whether um, in East Africa, South Africa, West Africa, Nigeria, where have you? Everybody must think straight now and behave like, okay, we have moved beyond what it was on the morning the world was created. This is some modern era. This is 21st century Nigeria. Everybody should embrace good neighborliness, good, um, engaging each other as a good compatriots, and we
Mhm.
should trust each other and love each other. It does not matter whether you are a Christian, Muslim, or traditional African religion adherent. All of us must see ourselves as compatriots,
All
as
right.
citizens of the same country, and we must aspire for that happy living. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So it is now Exactly 7:03 a.m. in Nigeria time. I'm sure they'll be waking up to the news. As I'm talking right now, even major news networks are not carrying the news yet. So I guess many of them are probably in holiday mood. So
And probably they are just, well, in our time in Nigeria, and I know even whenever I'm there reporting, I know people hardly sleep like that. So they're probably still just trying to find their way to
they're
some
trying to find their
vantage.
way through dirty December to the office so they can
Yeah,
finally.
even through some clumsy roads and what have
Uh,
you, to just have the first hand handle on what is happening, and they're making sure that they are not in harm's way.
yeah,
Remember when BBC trained some of us in those days, and I know it is still a major, still a big deal for British trainers. No story is worth dying for. We must struggle to. Did you get the point I just made?
I guess we need
No
coverage.
story, no
I heard
story.
you.
Yeah, no
I
story
heard
is
you.
worth dying for. You must stay alive first.
Yeah.
Uh, Make sure you are safe and secured, but also make sure you have a first-hand verifiable report. Again, you must look beyond the talking points of authority. Go right there while you make sure that you are staying safe to get the facts to the people. And that is what helps the growth of the country and give us an egalitarian society.
I'm gonna say this before I leave. Shout out to Ginona in the chat. She says US has not released any video on the attack. So what are you showing here? Radio without battery. Yeah. I don't know how to respond to that. Maybe are you sure
Well,
your internet can easily connect to CNN? You can easily
sure.
verify all the
And
screen.
this fellow should understand that this news broke only 6 p.m. United States time. Um, yeah, Christmas Day, 6 p.m. United States time. So even the major news networks in the United States could not pick it for the prime news
No,
this Sunday
actually,
evening.
the video you probably couldn't see, sir. The video that's shown on the screen is valid, and anybody with any ounce of you do the math can verify that through
Oh,
CNN.
oh yes, but you know, some people can be so mischievous. Here,
Yeah,
we do not traffic in fake news. We verify everything we publish. So,
yeah,
yes, now I got the context. But then the
yeah.
person should also realize that this news broke at 6 p.m. United States time on Christmas Day.
How about I'm not in the mood
So
to do shalaye to you? How about help me like and share and subscribe to this channel because we come
that's
here
right.
all the time and we're dropping
Mhm.
videos from time to time. Help us share the word and tell them
Yeah,
that just give them your honest opinion about what we're doing here. That what
right.
will make us happy. But we
Thank
appreciate you
you.
for being here. And this has been our special breaking news today. And we'll be paying attention to see how Nigeria is going to report this through the course of the day.
We keep
Hope,
monitoring. We keep
yeah.
monitoring. Thank you very much.
Hopefully, you've been enlightened, educated. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year in advance to everybody.
And happy Boxing Day. Do not go on the street throwing punches at people. Just box your gift and ship that out. Enjoy the rest of enjoy the rest of your holiday. God bless.
Take care. Bye now.
Bye.